What if a hidden map led you to a treasure, but the treasure wasn't gold? Welcome back to my channel. Today's story is The Girl Who Found a Hidden Map. Let's dive right in. Eva loved exploring. She was 12 years old and lived in the quiet town of Green Hill. Every Saturday morning, she rode her bicycle around the town looking for places she had never seen before, while her friends spent their weekends playing video games. Eva enjoyed walking through old streets, small parks, and quiet forests. She believed every place had a story. One sunny Saturday, Eva visited her grandfather. Her grandfather, Mr. Wilson, had lived in Green Hill for more than 60 years. His house was filled with old books, wooden furniture, family photos, and interesting collections from his travels. "Grandpa," Eva asked while looking around the attic, "why do you keep all these old things?" He smiled. "Because every old thing remembers something." Eva laughed. "I wish they could talk." "Sometimes," Grandpa replied. "They do. You only need to know how to listen." Eva didn't fully understand, but she smiled anyway. While cleaning a dusty bookshelf, Eva noticed a small wooden box hidden behind several large books. It was covered with dust. She carefully opened it. Inside was a folded piece of yellow paper, tied with a faded blue ribbon. "What is this?" she whispered. She slowly untied the ribbon. The paper was a hand-drawn map. It showed several places around Greenhill. At the bottom were the words, "For the one who loves adventure, follow the path, help others, and the greatest treasure will be yours." Eva's eyes grew wide. "Grandpa, look what I found." Grandpa looked surprised. "I haven't seen that map in many years. Is it real?" He nodded. "It was made by my grandfather. He loved creating adventures for children. So there's a treasure." Grandpa smiled. "Maybe." Eva quickly packed a small backpack with a bottle of water, a notebook, and some sandwiches. "I'm going." "Remember," Grandpa said, "read every clue carefully." Eva waved goodbye and rode away. The first mark on the map pointed toward the old town clock. The clock stood in the center of Greenhill. Many people walked past it every day. Eva searched around the clock. She looked behind benches. She looked near flower pots. Nothing. Then she noticed something carved into one wooden bench. It read, "The journey is not about running, it is about noticing." Eva looked around more carefully. Near the bench was a tiny metal box, hidden under a loose stone. Inside was another note. "Well done. Now visit the oldest tree in Riverside Park." Eva smiled. "This is fun." She rode to Riverside Park. The oldest oak tree was easy to find. Its trunk was huge. Children often played beneath its branches. Eva searched around the roots. After several minutes, she found nothing. Just then, she noticed a little boy crying. His red toy airplane had become stuck high in the tree. Eva looked up. "I'll help." She found a long stick. After a few careful tries, the airplane fell gently onto the grass. The little boy jumped with joy. "Thank you." His mother smiled. "That was very kind." As Eva turned around, she noticed something she had missed before. A small wooden sign was attached to the back of the tree. It said, "Well, kindness helps you see what hurry hides." Behind the sign was another small envelope. Eva laughed. So helping someone was part of the adventure. The next clue read, "Go where stories sleep." Eva thought for a moment. Stories sleep the library. She hurried to the old library. Mrs. Carter, the librarian, greeted her warmly. "Hello, Eva." Eva searched between bookshelves. She checked reading tables. Nothing. Mrs. Carter noticed her puzzled face. "Looking for something?" Eva showed her the map. Mrs. Carter smiled. "I remember hearing about this." She pointed toward a shelf filled with history books. Eva found a single blue book sticking out farther than the others. Inside was another folded paper. The clue read, "Knowledge lights every path." Attached to the note was a tiny silver key. "What does this open?" Eva wondered. The map pointed toward Greenhill train station. The station was no longer used. Old trains had stopped running there many years ago. Eva walked through the quiet building. Birds sang outside. The wind gently moved broken leaves across the floor. Near the waiting room, she noticed a small wooden cabinet with a tiny lock. The silver key fit perfectly. Click. Inside was another note and a small compass. The note read, "Even with a map, you still need direction." Eva smiled. This adventure gets better every minute. The final mark on the map pointed towards Sunrise Hill. It was the highest place near Green Hill. The climb was longer than she expected. Halfway up the hill, she met an elderly man carrying heavy bags. "Good afternoon," he said with a tired smile. Eva offered to help. Together they carried the bags to the top. "Thank you," the man said. "You saved me a lot of work." Eva waved goodbye and continued walking. Soon she reached a large flat rock shown on the map. She looked around carefully. Nothing. Then she remembered the first clue. Notice. She looked at the compass. The arrow pointed toward a group of flowers growing beside the rock. She gently moved the flowers aside. There was a small wooden chest. Her heart beat faster. This must be the treasure. She opened the chest slowly. Inside were no gold coins, no diamonds, no expensive jewelry. Instead, she found a beautiful leather journal. On the first page were these words: "Congratulations, explorer. If you're reading this, you have already found the greatest treasure." Eva looked confused. She turned the page. It continued. "Today you noticed small details. You helped people without expecting rewards. You learned from books. You stayed patient. You finished what you started. These are treasures that never disappear." Eva sat quietly. She kept reading. The journal belonged to her great-great-grandfather. It contained stories from his adventures, drawings of places he visited, and lessons he learned during his life. At the very end was one final message: real treasure is not something you keep in a box. It is the person you become while searching. Eva closed the journal slowly. She smiled. For the first time that day, she understood why Grandpa loved old things. They carried memories. As the sun began to set, Eva returned to her grandfather's house. Grandpa was waiting on the front porch. "So," he asked, "did you find the treasure?" Eva held up the journal. "I did." "Were you disappointed there wasn't any gold?" Eva shook her head. "No." "What did you find?" Eva thought for a moment. "I found patience." She smiled. "I found kindness." She looked at the journal. "I found stories. And I found that adventures are more fun when you help people." Grandpa's eyes filled with pride. "My grandfather hoped someone would understand that message one day." Eva hugged him. "I'll take good care of this journal." Over the next few months, Eva filled the empty pages at the back with her own adventures. She wrote about every new place she visited. She wrote about every person she helped. She drew maps of parks, forests, rivers, and small streets around Green Hill. Soon, other children became curious. Eva invited them to explore with her. Instead of racing from one place to another, they slowed down. They noticed birds singing in the trees. They discovered colorful flowers growing beside old paths. They greeted neighbors they had never spoken to before. Every adventure became a chance to learn something new. Years later, Eva became a travel writer. People loved reading her stories because they were filled with hope, kindness, and wonder. Whenever someone asked her why she loved exploring, she smiled and gave the same answer: the greatest treasure is never waiting at the end of the map. It grows inside you with every step you take. And somewhere in Green Hill, inside an old wooden house filled with books and memories, the hidden map waited patiently for the next curious explorer who believed every place had a story. And that's the end of today's story. I hope you enjoyed the journey and found something meaningful along the way. Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and I'll see you in the next story. Until then, take care of yourself, and bye for now.